Hey, Steph.
Hello, Hannah.
Welcome to another episode of Bariatric Banter Podcast.
We're back.
We're here, 24.
My gosh,
I know, very crazy. The big 2-4.
I love it.
But like always, exciting. I'm excited about what we're going to chat about today. We had some really good feedback from people
Yeah.
online about what they want to see us talk about. And this is one that, oh boy, that I think we're just going to love because we consistently talk about this offline.
All the time. Oh, so many messages about it. And because a lot of these that even as we're just thinking about it, I'm thinking about stuff that I've forgotten about. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, I haven't done that in a while. So I think this will be good.
This will be good because, like, literally yesterday I said to you, "Oh my god, I have to do that." When
Oh
you sent
yeah.
that when you sent the picture, I was like, "Oh god, I
I
gotta,"
got it.
and I am. Like, this weekend, I'm
Good.
100% making them. So this
Awesome.
episode 24, we are gonna talk about recipes, our favorite
Yeah.
recipes, our go-to recipes, kind of like
Yep.
what we eat in a week instead of, like, what we eat in a day. I think we'll just kinda share, like, we would mix and match different
Yeah.
things. But,
Our
yeah, we wanna
go-tos.
talk about recipes, which is something that we love talking about.
And it'll be good because we've also noticed like we're at different phases. We're eating not necessarily different things, but I'm just now starting to get more into the meal planning and meal prepping phase because I still have my staples and I've been kind of like, I'm still on a lower calorie count. I know these fit my macros. I know these are my go-tos. These are my staples. These have good numbers. And now as I start to eat all things my limitations are off. Now I'm starting to eat more with my family.
Mhm.
Now I'm starting to look more at recipes, meal planning, and that kind of stuff. Whereas you've already been doing that for a bit. So I think it'll be
Yeah,
interesting to talk about the different phases and and the different things we're eating during those phases.
yes,
Yeah.
and, like, the joke is literally last night, Steph was sending a picture because we were talking about restrictions and
Oh gosh.
food, and I was like, "Holy shit, I haven't made quesadillas in years.
It was so bad
I'm gonna make
yesterday.
quesadillas." I know that wasn't the point of your message, but I love that. I was like, "Oh my god, I want quesadillas so bad."
Right? You
Um,
forget about things sometimes.
you do because you go through, like, your
You go through
hyper
phases.
and your
Yeah.
phases and stuff like that. So, no, I'm pumped to talk about this one because shit, I love recipes. And we are going to share recipes on Instagram.
Yep.
I'm going to get back into sharing my weekly menu with everybody too on Instagram. I used to do it way back in the day where I would just say, here's my menu for the week of all the things I've made and done. But I'm going to get back into sharing that. And a big thing that I like to do, and Steph will laugh because she knows I like to try to take recipes and make them bariatric or fix them
Yes.
because my biggest rant and
Swap
complaint
outs.
in life is when someone's like, "This is a high protein meal."
Ugh.
I come in and go, "No, it's not."
No, it's
Like
not. It's got 12 grams of protein. Let's
600
not.
calories. Like, get
Yeah.
bent. So,
No, and I need to get better too. I'm a lot of times I'm finding, especially as I increase my calories for the while it takes me to get into new routines. I used to be really good at having like pre-made I'm gonna say treats, but like snacks, little things in the
uh,
fridge. And
oh,
I've really fallen off the wagon with that. And so I want to get back into that because there's a lot of evenings where I'm like, okay, I have 200 calories left, or I have 150 calories left and this much. What do I want to have? I don't want to have another Baby Bell. I don't want to have another whatever. So having some of these pre-made recipes in my fridge is what I want to get back into for sure, and having those little containers ready to go to just grab and have at your
yep,
disposal.
yep, and I agree. One quick housekeeping note before we start. We're switching things up a little bit on the podcast and get
Yes.
excited. So, we are gonna move to a 30-minute, 35-minute format.
We're
Uh,
gonna try.
we're gonna try. We are long-winded,
uh,
but we're going to try to switch the podcast to 30, 35 minutes just
yeah.
because we both have full-time jobs and there's a lot going on. We want to make sure that we can consistently stay on top of recording and releasing each week. And an hour episode is a lot. Means we
Yeah.
can really only record one episode a week, maybe two if we're lucky. This format will allow us to record the entire month in advance or record at least a few in advance and give us
Yeah.
a little breathing room, which is nice. But don't worry, we're going to have special episodes that are an hour or more every fourth episode so that we can dive really deep into a cool topic. But yeah, minor little housekeeping. We're
Yep.
also going to start doing the autoresponder on Instagram. Now,
Mhm.
I will preface this is not a sales technique, and I know some people hate this, but on Instagram, you've probably seen people say, "Oh, just respond to this post with the word banana, and I'll send you the recipe." Um, they're doing it because A, it's easy to make sure that anybody who's new can find it, but also because sharing links on Instagram is now super hurting reach. So putting
Yeah.
a link in our stories or adding a link or saying link in bio, like it's all really hurting our reach. And the other big thing is some of you are finding us on episode 24. Welcome. And so we want
Hello.
to make sure that if they go back through our Instagram and they want to listen to one of our older episodes, all they have to do is comment on that post. And then Instagram will automatically send them a DM
Yeah.
with the link to that episode. So
Yeah.
that's the main reason Steph and I are going to do this is we want to make sure that anybody who's finding us can quickly get that link by literally just commenting on the post. So
Yeah.
it's not like a salesy shitty
It's not
tack.
slimy. We don't want you to miss out on anything. If they start limiting your view of our stories or our posts because of links, we don't want you guys to miss out on any content. We want to make sure you're getting all the new juicy episodes as they come out. So, yes, not a slimy, salesy tactic. Don't
No.
be worried that we're going to spam you
You
or
want
do anything crazy. It's
cool.
really just to make sure you guys aren't missing out on the content as they make those changes to the platform.
All right.
Perfect.
Recipes.
Let's go.
Okay, so you made a really good point, and this was something
Yep.
I did really early on was I had these little bite-sized small,
Yeah.
like, snacks in the freezer. So
Yeah,
first of
ready
all,
to go.
get ready for freezer meals. Go
Yep.
buy freezer safe containers. Get a second freezer if you need to. I'm not even kidding you guys. I got one for Christmas from my parents. They were like, "We bought you a
So
stand
handy.
freezer," and I was like, "Thank you, bless you, my freezer."
Adulting.
But get ready for it because A, you won't be eating big enough portion sizes that you
Oh gosh, yes.
like, the amount of stuff I throw out because in my mind, I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, Imma eat all this," and then it's like,
Oh,
high restriction day, don't want cheese anymore, can't look at a hard-boiled egg as long as I could live.
yep.
You have to get used to freezer food because your taste, your restriction, everything will have you throwing shit out.
Yep.
But also, it's so much easier for me to pre-portion. It's easier in the moment to grab something out of the freezer that's pre-portioned than if you're
Mhm.
having a binge day or a really hungry day and you're making it fresh, you have a higher chance of snacking in the kitchen, of making
Yeah.
a bigger plate than you need. So I subscribe
Mhm.
to the I have a freezer full of shit at any
Oh my
given
gosh, yeah.
method, all pre-portioned by the way, so that all I have to do is take it out, pop it in the frying pan and away I go, like to heat it up.
Yep.
But one of the big things I used to do, and I'm actually gonna get back into it because I miss it, is I would make things like quesadillas and put them
Mhm.
in the freezer with my, like, super low carb tortillas, rip, because we haven't been to the States.
Ugh,
Won't
I
be
only
going.
have one package left. I'm
If
so
anybody's an
sad.
American listener and wants to DM Steph and I to send us tortillas, like,
We would not say no.
we will pay you a premium. Um, but I used to outside of quesadillas, I'd make mini tacos. I don't know why, but I
Yes.
was just kind of on this kick that I wanted little tacos. I was really into, like, little things, sliders,
Everything's better as a taco.
right? So I would get, like, the super tiny itty bitty, like, corn
Mhm.
tortilla shells, and
Yep.
I would make, pulled chicken or ground beef tacos, and basically, I would just cook the meat with my taco seasoning, and
Yep.
then I would get some refried beans, like low sodium refried beans, and some low fat cheese, and I
Yep.
would pre-measure out the same amount in each taco, tablespoon of beans, quarter a tablespoon of cheese, whatever my like, I think at the time I
Whatever your fillings. Yeah.
1.5 ounces of chicken because again, these are mini, so you can't fit a lot. And then I would close them over, put them in the frying pan for like 2 seconds to get a little color and to melt the cheese so it's
Yep.
sealed. Slide them into a Ziploc bag, and I'd fill that bag with like 15 tacos. And I would work the macros out on them that I could have two of those tacos was 10 grams of protein or something like that.
Yep.
And I was like, these are great. They could be part of a meal. They could be my whole meal. They could
Yeah,
be my
maybe a
8
snack.
I'm 200 calories short and need
Yep.
a snack. The calories weren't high. I guys, I'll share on Instagram because we won't remember off the top of our heads the calories.
Yeah.
But I loved having these mini tacos in the freezer because there are just going to be days you're running between meetings. You're just not
Yep.
feeling hungry, but you need protein and you don't want it to be a hard boiled egg. I loved having these little frozen snacks,
Yep.
whether it was half a quesadilla, it was a mini taco, or I did do mini sliders. So I would get
Yeah.
ground turkey and a ton of spices. Like I would do like a za'atar spice, or I would do a shawarma spice, or
Yep.
Greek, and I'd make and pre-measure all these little burgers. Um, and I'd cook them in advance too because, again, I just
Yes.
heat. I don't
Ready
wanna.
to grab and go.
Yep, and I would keep them in the freezer, and then at any given time, I kept little, like, King's Hawaiian rolls. Now,
Yeah.
sure, those are like 100-calorie buns. I get that, it's a little bit of an indulgence for the bun, but there are gonna be days that you're like, "If I don't have a
I
full,
just want bread.
like, I'm gonna lose it," and so, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure the calories were, like, 150 for my slider, and that was, like, 13 grams of protein,
Yep.
and it really filled a desire to
It's
have more.
satiating, right?
Yeah,
It hits the craving, it's satiating. You don't feel like missing out. I just bought 2 of the Hawaiian rolls, they're in my pantry
they're great.
because yeah, sometimes you just want bread and you
You just need
just want
bread,
carbs and I want a bun.
and it's
Um,
measured, and it's
yeah, and they're
looked
the
at.
perfect size.
Yes, and
They're
sure,
the
again,
perfect size.
calories in them, there's calories in
There's calories
everything.
in everything.
I have not found a low-calorie alternative. Don't tell me
No,
about thin buns, they're great.
not the
Nobody
same.
nobody makes thin slider buns,
No,
and
and it's just
also
not the same.
they don't freeze well, so I'm gonna be very honest.
Mm,
I have tried cutting them with a
yes.
cookie cutter
Oh my gosh.
company, and then I froze
No.
them, and they basically fucking disintegrated upon
Yes. I
eating, and I'm
bought those thin hamburger buns and threw them in the freezer,
yeah.
and that for barbecue season, and then, yeah, I went to reheat them, and they were either rock solid
Oh god,
or mush.
you go to
Yeah,
pull them apart, you're like,
there's, like, no middle, and I
"Great."
didn't even I popped them in the microwave to thaw them, not even long, and, like, I could have, like, banged them on the counter, like, they were rocks, and then
Yeah,
so the next time I did it, yeah, they were just like mush. There's no.
no,
Sometimes, you know what? You just gotta
mush,
suck it
mush.
up and eat the bun and
Eat
have your
them,
carbs, have your satiating, feel
yeah,
good, and that's the thing,
please.
right? Like, a lot of times, especially at the beginning, you're doing swap outs, you're not eating what other people are eating, you feel like you're missing out, and that's no fun either. So find things that, yeah, maybe like I said, maybe it's a little bit higher in your carb count or maybe it's a little higher in your calories, but you're going
Sure.
to feel good about what you're eating. You're going to hit that craving. You're
Yep.
not going to feel unsatisfied, which is going to lead
No.
to eating crap food later.
Yep.
Just eat it.
And pro tip,
Just eat it.
The Hawaiian King pretzel rolls
Oh, I
are
haven't had those yet.
they're hard to find. Certain
Yeah, I've
grocery
never
stores
seen
carry
them.
them. The pretzel buns are slightly better than the butter buns, so that's just a pro
Interesting.
tip, but if anybody finds, and, like, you have to be careful because, okay, so a great example is Superstore, putting them on blast because 'cause they're not a sponsor, nor will they ever be. They make a mini slider bun, but it's a brioche mini slider bun.
Mm.
Please don't buy them because 'cause they're almost 200 calories.
I was going
Oh,
to say that's going to be a high one.
that's
As soon as
insane.
you say brioche, you know.
That's insane, but there are definitely a lot of mini ones that you can get that are
Yeah.
50 calories, and you know what? Again, it's to each their own, but it's not like I'm sitting here eating 15 sliders every day. There are
No.
days I crave sliders, and the most I can eat is 2, and 2 is like,
Ooh,
we're
I'm so full.
at my limit, 2,
Yeah.
but I don't mind that because if I added everything up, I'm okay, maybe 200, we'll say 200 for the buns, and then I've got my meat on that, but my protein out of both of those is probably close
Yes.
to 25 for 2 mini little sliders,
Which is
and
great.
again, satiating, so it's not like my whole day
Yeah.
is crap, my whole
No.
day is balanced, so
Yeah.
that's my first recommendation. We're gonna ping pong back and forth here,
And
but my
if you're planning your day and tracking your food, you can work it in no problem.
yeah, and trust me, it fills you. The
Yeah.
bread motherfucking fills you. And carbs are not the enemy. We'll do a whole episode on that either,
Mm,
especially if you're getting into exercise, you need it. But
yeah,
there's my first recipe that I love. I know I didn't give like exact measurements, but mini tacos in the freezer, mini
yeah,
sliders in the freezer, or like
yeah,
little quesadillas in the freezer. They
yeah.
reheat really well, and that'll be kind of the theme of my recipes today. They
Mhm.
have to reheat well because you know what sucks? Breakfast burritos that are watery and
Ugh,
sluggy
bleh,
and
bleh.
so sorry.
Nope.
There's my first recipe. Steph, what's one of
Yeah,
your go-tos? And I'm
one of the
sorry.
go-tos.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. Quick thing on that note too, you're talking about, like, how important it is to freeze and portion.
Yes.
I It's hard, especially at the beginning, because you're still getting used to how much you eat and don't eat. And, like, I'm 8 months out, and there are so many days where I still am like, "Oh, yeah, you can't eat that much." So, like, for example, I bought chicken breasts, packages of chicken breasts, and I barbecue them, and I grill them all at once for my meal plan, and then I cut it up and I put it in the fridge. How many times have I gotten to the point of, like, day 4 or 5 where I've made a tiny little dent in this Tupperware of chicken, and now I have to throw it out because I forgot that that's gonna take me a shit ton of time to get through, and
Mhm.
I'm now wasting all this food. So the freezer prepackaged is key because it has been sad, I will admit, watching how much cooked food I have thrown out because I forget
So
that
fuck.
cooking 4 chicken breasts is gonna take me forever to get through, even
I
if I eat chicken every day.
I can only eat half a
So
chicken breast. So, like,
exactly.
for me, it's like, better have 15 fucking recipes ready for
Yeah,
half a
right?
chicken breast.
Right. So the freezer is portioning and freezing is key, and I need to get better at that too because, like I said, I've thrown out far too much food lately. Because it takes a while to build that habit and remember you're only eating so much food when for so long you've eaten so much more.
Yep.
But anyway, one of my staples, and this is for anybody who's early on in your journey,
Yes.
especially if you're in the puree or soft food phases, and people like me who have a sweet tooth. That was a thing that I was really concerned about for surgery. Was I've always had a huge sweet tooth.
Gotcha.
So sounds weird, but so good is protein jello. And I know
Yeah.
we've talked about this, and I have forgotten to make this. And I was cleaning out my pantry yesterday, and I found a bunch of sugar-free jello. So this is on my list for this weekend. But you take sugar-free jello,
Yep.
any flavor you like, and you start with the jello packet in the hot water like you normally would, dissolve it in the hot water. However, instead of adding cold water, you're going to substitute that with 0% plain Greek yogurt.
Oh,
And it
yeah.
sounds weird and it's going to curdle at first and you're going to think you've ruined it, but I promise, just keep stirring. And it comes
Risk the
together.
sugar of it.
Yeah, like just go. And you'll get a good arm workout at the same time.
Yep.
Don't panic when it curdles. Keep going. Mix it together. It will be fine, and then put in the fridge like you normally would. And it comes out, if you make like a raspberry, it looks like Pepto Bismol. That's the best way I can describe it. But it comes out creamy and it still has, it's hard to explain. It still has a jello consistency, but creamy.
Yes.
So it gets your protein in, it gets you that sweet fix that you need. You feel like you're having a treat because you're having jello. And I would make those and I would put them in individual little 2 ounce or 3 ounce, whatever it was, probably 2 ounce containers. And I would stock them up in the fridge. And then when I had that sweet craving, or like I said, in the evening, when I've got some calories and protein left and I don't want to have more cheese, which doesn't happen often because I love cheese, but it's a nice little extra go to. My kids can eat it. It does look a little funny the first time you make it, but I've made it with multiple flavors and it never fails. And it's just a nice, easy way to get that extra little hit of protein in. And still feel like you're having dessert and having a snack. And if you want, put some sugar-free whipped cream on top or some light Cool Whip. Heads
Yeah.
up,
Cool Whip is fine.
light Cool Whip is so low in
Yeah.
calories.
Honestly, it's
Go to
kind
town, man.
of better than the sugar-free. The sugar-free
It
Cool Whip is
is.
hard to find here. The
Yeah.
light, way better.
Yeah, and I think I have it in the freezer right now. I bought it for my oldest daughter's birthday. We were making desserts, and I still have some. And the other day, I had such a sweet tooth craving. It has gotten less since surgery, but I digress. I had strawberries and berries in the fridge, and I was like, I could really go for some of that Cool Whip, but I was afraid. I thought it was going to be horrible.
No.
It was like 30 calories for 2 tablespoons or something even less than that. So
No,
I was
it's
like,
4. The
you
serving size is 4
yes, yes.
tablespoons.
I was like, "You better bet I'm having strawberries and Cool Whip for dessert."
Yeah.
But yes, the protein jello sounds funny, looks funny
Oh,
when
it's
you're
so
making
good.
it. 100% recommend you pop that in your fridge.
It's so good. I literally was gonna this is so
Yep.
funny. I was gonna text you this morning
Yep.
that Oikos so every now and then I do buy the high protein, low sugar yogurt, great. Every
Mhm.
now and then I get the little flavored, like, 4 packs of yogurt because I'm like,
Yep.
"You need a sweet treat," right? So they have lemon meringue, and, like, I am a lemon
Oh.
person. I can't avoid it. So, like, lemon meringue is the decadent Greek yogurt flavor of
Yeah.
Oikos in the 4-pack. 8 grams of sugar, so I was like, "That's fine. This is a
Okay.
treat. I'm only getting 4."
Yep.
It could be lower, but whatever. I take the lemon meringue and I put
Yep.
a tablespoon of the sugar-free cheesecake pudding mix in,
Yes.
and I, like,
Yes.
super whip it because it's gonna be grainy if you don't, and I go
Yep.
and go and go, and it thickens in front of you and
Oh,
becomes
it's
like this
so good.
fluffy lemon cheesecake. Um,
Mhm.
I cannot recommend the sugar-free cheesecake pudding mix enough.
Yeah.
Put it in Greek yogurt, put it in cottage cheese if you like that kinda thing, I don't. But, like, put it in anything. You make it a
Everything.
smoothie, you're making a protein coffee, like, whatever the hell you have a Ninja Creamy, you
Yep.
want that cheesecake base because it, like, really
Yep.
tastes like cheesecake, and then today, literally before we recorded this,
Yep.
I went on to Viking Nutrition. They're not a
Okay.
sponsor, but they're from Montreal, and that's where I get a lot of, like, my Built Bar flavors and some
Yep.
really good stuff. They finally have, because 'cause I've been on the
Uh-oh.
hunt for this for years,
Uh-oh.
the sugar-free pie filling, which
Ooh,
you're gonna say, "You can
yes.
get that in Canada." No, you fucking
No, you
can't.
can't. No, you
Single
can't.
person carries it. It's Duncan
Nope.
Hines, like, it's a good name. So they
Yep.
now have the apple and the cherry sugar-free,
Nice.
and it's only 30 calories per serving, and I
Oh,
was like,
hello.
"This is happening." So
Yes,
my new
please.
thing is I wanna make cheesecake. I wanna take
Yeah.
plain Greek
Oh,
yogurt,
I love
sugar-free
cheesecake.
cheesecake pudding. I wanna mix that up and then try some of the sugar-free cherry on top. So I'll let you guys know how it goes, but I
Can you
like,
make this tomorrow?
it's not gonna arrive in time. I'm
It's so
sorry.
funny you say this because my dad's favorite dessert is cherry cheesecake.
Oh, same.
And so for Father's Day, my parents were at the cottage and my mom said, "Can you bring a cherry cheesecake for dessert for your dad?" And I was like, "Sure." And we have a really, really, really good Mennonite bakery in town. And had never got cheesecake from them before, but I ordered one. I picked it up and I went to get it and she came out and put it in my hands and I literally just stood there going, "Oh my god."
Yeah, I'd
So
like to
took it to
get
the cottage. So there's my mom, my dad, and my kids all eating this cheesecake. And I'm just sitting there staring at it. And I didn't bring an alternative for me. I was like, you know what? We're just going to be strong and not have dessert. I was, like, almost in tears sitting
yeah,
because I freaking love cheesecake.
sometimes
I
the dessert is
love cheesecake,
preferred.
and it was, a baked cheesecake, which I love,
Oh, I love
and
baked.
it had chocolate, like, it had drizzle on I can't even, and they're
So,
all sitting there with this cheesecake, and my mom's like, "Are you sure you don't want a little slice?" And I was like, "Do I?" But nope, and, oh, it was so s I was so
all
sad.
right, so I'll tell you how this goes then. It's Duncan Hines, no sugar
Okay.
added pie filling, and it's 30 calories, and the serving size is a third of a cup. I was like,
Oh,
"Well,
wow.
shit, I won't be eating a third of a cup."
No.
30 calories, no fat, no cholesterol, very minimal sodium,
Mhm.
7 grams of carbs.
Yep. So
Um,
even if you took plain Greek yogurt, so
yes.
I mix sugar-free jello puddings with yogurt all the time. If you took Even if you took plain yogurt, added the cheesecake jello to the plain yogurt, whipped it up because it gets nice and thick too, excuse me, and then just put that as like a drizzle on top, I'm in.
Yep. So I'll let you guys know how that one goes. Again, the
Oh
place is
gosh.
called Viking Nutrition. They're
Okay.
based out of Montreal. They have wonderful shipping. I'm getting a can of apple and a can of cherry. Now it is no sugar added, not sugar free. There's
Right.
3 grams of sugar per
Well, that's
serving.
fine.
That is nothing.
That's fine.
That's
No,
totally
that's
fine.
fine.
So yeah, no, it's funny you mentioned that. Those are some of
Oh.
my favorite recipes. So please buy the
Jeez.
sugar-free jello and the sugar-free pudding. There'll be a million things you can make. In the
Mhm.
fall, if you get canned pumpkin, now that's the pure pumpkin puree,
Not the filling.
pumpkin pie filling.
Yeah.
And they do sell this in Canada. It is expensive as hell, but you want the canned pumpkin
Yep.
puree, not the pie filling. And you mix that with an entire pack of sugar-free cheesecake pudding mix. You
Mhm.
basically make a pumpkin cheesecake.
It's
Add
so good.
spices, go get the mini tart shells from the grocery store in the freezer section and make
Yep.
yourself a ton of little pumpkin pies. I add a giant scoop of protein powder to that so that
Mhm.
there's at least protein in them. But there's
Yep.
definitely times, especially around the holidays, especially in the fall, that you just
Yeah.
kind of start craving a warm dessert. Apple
Yeah.
crumble,
Those
cheese.
fall flavors.
So
Yep.
that's one of my, like, go-tos right there. I always have canned
Mhm.
pureed pumpkin on hand,
Oh,
and I will always in the fall mix it with the cheesecake and, make little tarts out of it, which is great.
ugh.
I do try to add protein powder to as much as I can, so
Mhm.
I'm gonna share some really cool recipes here in a sec with you all, but I try to add protein powder to as much as possible when I'm baking. So I don't add it as much to my savory food because I try to get the protein
Yeah.
from the meat or the cottage cheese. But when baking, so when I make my protein muffins that I've shared on Instagram, there's always protein powder added. When I
Yep.
make these little tarts, protein powder is getting added in. I just find it's easy to add it in when you're baking because you rarely taste it after you've baked it. So
Yep.
yeah, those are some good recos. This is
Yep.
gonna be a unique recipe. It's like my hyperfixation right now, and some of you are gonna go, "What the shit, Hannah? You're having carbs?" So, this is my orzo steak bake. And a lot of people are like, "But we don't eat rice and we don't eat carbs." I don't eat rice, it doesn't sit well in my stomach, and I
Yep.
can't eat pizza crust, and I can't really eat a lot of bread, like, it just doesn't go well. Orzo, I don't know, because it's tiny or small, like, it sits perfectly well in my stomach.
Mhm.
this basically what I do, and I'll say, because I have the serving size, I have it up here portioned. I eat 3/4 of a cup. That is my serving size for all my meals. I can't really fit more than that in. So
Yep.
everything I make, I pre-portion to 3/4 of a cup and pop it into little containers, and I don't have to think about it. So per serving, this is 250 calories, which is for me being 2 years post-op, totally fine.
Yep.
But it has 25 grams of protein.
Which is
So
awesome.
it's exactly what you look for, right? Your
Yep.
protein needs to match your calories or be higher. So if I added a 0 to my protein, it's 250. My calories are 250. It's a
Perfect.
really good balanced meal. It has 12 grams of fat for serving. Now, I
Yep.
know there's some people that are trying to keep it to 5 or less. My goal is that I aim for 10 or less, and I was
Yep.
okay with it being 12. Once you
Yeah,
hear
it's close.
I'm close enough, I'm good.
Yep.
The carbs are not as high as you think. They are 11 grams of
Oh, that's
but
all
it's
right.
2 grams of fiber. So technically,
Okay.
it's only 9 grams of net carbs. There's
Yep.
3 grams of sugar, 25 grams of protein, and a buttload of vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, and iron. Because here's the
Perfect.
recipe. You're gonna do a cup of or this is a one pan, one pot meal. You're gonna do a
Yep.
cup of orzo, 2 cups of beef broth. You're gonna let that cook until basically all the liquid's absorbed. You're gonna add an entire thing of Boursin cheese. Whatever flavor
Cheese.
you like. I like there's a lemon version out right now, which is really good with this recipe.
Nice.
Truffle one is great, but you're gonna put a puck of Boursin in, a cup of cherry tomatoes sliced up, a big package of spinach, a
Yep.
whole pack of mushrooms, and then I do flank steak. So I will slice flank steak that I've seared off quickly, and I will mix that all in. And basically, you're just going to mix it all in until the spinach wilts and the tomatoes burst a bit, and that
Yep.
cheese is fully incorporated. There should be at least 7 servings in this. If you do the 3/4 of a cup rule,
Yep.
you'll have 7 servings and then a half serving that I usually just eat for dinner that night. This is my favorite recipe. It freezes like a dream. It reheats really well. You feel like you're having something super sinful that you shouldn't be allowed to have. It's cheesy. It's kind of got pasta in it.
Yeah.
250 calories a serving for 25 grams of protein.
And one pan, which is
One pan.
winner,
One
winner.
pot, one pot.
I
So this
love
is
those.
one of my absolute favorite recipes,
Yep.
and so what I do when I make and I'll share a bunch more on Instagram because I have a ton of really cool recipes, but what I do is most of my recipes are roughly around the same mark, 190 to 250 calories. Some are a
Yep.
little higher, like 288.
Yeah.
They come with way more protein in it. So,
It's a
yeah,
trade-off.
there's a bit of a trade-off there, right?
Yep.
But what I basically do is put them all in the freezer with a Sharpie. I write on the lid what it is, and I
Yep.
put calorie count in the corner because everything I make needs to be 25 grams of protein or higher. That was one of the
Yeah.
big things that I started doing at the end of last year was that there were just too many recipes that were like 12 grams, 15
Mm-mm.
grams. I was like, if I'm going to eat,
Yeah.
I need to start reverse engineering these to have
Yes.
way fucking more protein.
Because that's usually for one serving, which all we're even not even eating
The
one
whole
serving.
serving.
So
Right.
if one serving is 12 grams, you're probably having like 8,
Yeah,
which is not gonna do it.
because I almost always finish my 3/4 a cup, but there's a lot
Yep.
of days I don't. So, I started to relook at stuff and say it needs 25 grams minimum, but I'm not gonna have 500 calories to do that. So,
No.
I want all of my meals under 300 calories, and I have
Yep.
successfully been able to do that.
Perfect.
Um, and so I'll write the name, the calories, and I'll put it in the freezer. Basically, I have figured out a way that, like, if I eat my 3 meals and my 3 snacks, I am hitting my calorie goal, and at 2 years post-op, my goal is 13 to 1,500 a day. The
Yep.
reason it kinda ranges is because if I go for a run, if I do a
Right.
workout, I will probably be closer to 15 than I am to 13. If I'm
And
having
some days you're just more hungry.
Yeah. I keep it under 1,500 calories. I don't eat over 1,500 calories. And this is where you're supposed to be, by the way. After a year of being in surgery,
Mhm.
they say most bariatric patients at the 1 year mark should be between 13 and 1,500 calories. Not 1,000, not 9, not 8, not even
No.
12. In the guidelines and recommendations, it says 13 to 15 is where you should be forever. For maintenance
Yeah.
for life, that's where you will stay. Now, some people go over, and that's fine because they have a
Yep.
dietitian and they're working out like crazy and they can
Yes.
afford to burn that much. Why you
Right.
need to work with a doctor and a dietitian to figure it out.
Yeah.
For me, currently with my running schedule and stuff, I'm fine to be where I'm at, but we have
Yep.
discussed potentially needing to be higher. Because there's many reasons. But again, I try to keep it to that. So what helps me is my pre-portioned go-to meals because
Yep.
I know and can quickly do the mental math in my head. Oh yeah, I can pick anything out of this freezer, any three things out of this freezer and be totally fine because
Yep.
I will still be under 900 calories if I ate my breakfast, my lunch, and my dinner of one of those frozen meals that I have in there, whether it's my green curry, my orzo steak, my Korean turkey bowl, or I don't know what's in there right now, but there's curry, there's the steak bowl for sure. Oh, I do a ground turkey with Worcestershire sauce, tomato paste, goat cheese, and a bunch of vegetables. That's in
Nice.
there. That's creamy and fall and delicious.
Mhm.
If I took 3 meals from that freezer,
Yep.
I'm at least at 900 or less calories. I have lots of room for my snacks.
Yeah.
And my snacks, to your point, are usually where I have a little bit more fun. I'm gonna have 2 of
Right.
those little tacos or, "Ooh, I'm gonna make a charcuterie board because I
Yep.
really like cheese." And I know everybody's like, "They said that you have to have, like, the super low fat mozzarella, 18% milk-free
No.
cheese." I buy the old
No.
crumbly ass cheddar cheese that you can smell 8 blocks away because I'm only eating 30 grams of it, like, I'm
Yep.
only having the 3-ounce cube. I can't as much as I want to, I can't overeat. So, that's my one decadence is I want good cheese. If I'm gonna have cheese, I want
Yep.
good fucking cheese. Now, I do keep it under 30% milk fat. I won't go over that. So I found an amazing aged cheddar that's 27% milk fat. I know my
Yep.
dietitian said 20, but I was like, this is my
I'm
one
doing it.
and I'm fine. But because my 3 meals stay at 900 or
Mhm.
less calories, that gives me so much room to have my 3 snacks a day. And I do aim for 6 meals a day because I need to consistently be fueling my body and you cannot eat enough portion size wise to only eat 3 times a day and
Yeah.
actually hit your protein or your macros or your calcium or your whatever. So, 13 that gives me like 500 calories for snacks, which like that's
Plenty.
more than I
Plenty.
and I my
Yeah.
snack usually is Greek yogurt mixed with sugar-free whatever, whatever, a charcuterie board where I'll have a few
Mhm.
crackers, some cheese, a few grapes, and some meat. Right now I have the steak bites from Costco. They're great, by the way, because you can have I think the calories for it is 90, but the serving size is 6 strips, like, it's
Nice.
they're great, look them up. Popcorn, because popcorn's
Yep.
super high in fiber, a really good post-bariatric snack. I make my
Yep.
own that's not store-bought. I air pop my own popcorn.
Yep.
Yes, I put some seasoning on it. Again, it fits in my calorie count, so it's fine. That's been kind of a go-to snack. Oh, popsicles in the summer, I like popsicles. So,
Yes.
you can get a ton of popsicles that are less than 10 grams of sugar, less than 100 calories, and sometimes you just need to have a cool
Yep.
popsicle treat. Look for the Greek yogurt ones because they have at least a little bit of protein added in.
Mhm.
Pro tip, Blue Menu, Superstore, the peanut butter fudge blue menu, like, Greek
Nice.
yogurt pop. It's less than 100 calories. I think it's under 90. It's got 8 grams of sugar per, but there's protein in it. So,
Cool.
if you need to have, like, that sugar tooth craving, I recommend keeping some of those in there. They're great. Hummus and carrots. Oh, I like cucumber with smoked salmon and cottage cheese. Like, that's a great snack that I've been devouring recently, but I look for more things that I can keep pre-cut, pre-made, and in the fridge because when I need a snack or when I'm hungry, it's
Yeah.
very easy to just grab a bar instead of, "Oh,
Mhm.
let's go make something." So I
Real
pre-cut my
food.
cheese, I pre-cut my grapes, I pre-cut my cucumber, I pre-cut fucking e like, it's like I'm a top.
Yeah,
I pre-cut everything.
but it helps.
Yeah.
It helps.
What are
Love
your
it.
what are your go-to snacks? What like, do you have everything pre-measured so that you can just grab and go to fit like, you're at what, 900 calories now?
Yeah. Some things I do, but I'm definitely at a still that phase where I have my go-tos. Like I know I'm I'm all about the Baby Bell cheese.
Hey,
I
big
was I was never a big Baby Bell person, and now, like, if I do I'm panicked right now because I opened my fridge before we started recording, and I had a Baby Bell, and I thought I had 2 bags left, and I only have 1 little bag because my small child has been stealing my Baby Bells.
no.
So, like, a little bit of panic set in this morning because heaven forbid I don't have my Baby Bells. Um,
No.
but I have my staples, like, I usually have, eggs for breakfast.
Mhm.
That's usually my
Me too.
go-to. I have
I'm
yeah,
looking at
right?
this.
I have
Yep.
my protein coffee. Hard-boiled eggs are a good one. I love having hard-boiled eggs, which reminds me, I'm don't have any left in the fridge. That's my go-to for an easy snack as well. The Baby Bells are definitely one. The roasted edamame packets.
Oh, I have so many.
I'm officially out. I'm out of everything right now, apparently.
You can
But
take
I
a
buy
bunch
those. Oh, beautiful. Those are
yeah,
a great go-to snack. They're like 110 calories per pack. I think it's 11 grams, 12 grams of protein, so it's perfect in the macro area, low in carbs, high in fiber. So those are something that I love having, both at home for a snack, but also that I can throw in my bag and take with me. They're super handy for that. And then my lunches typically, I'm a big right now, I'm into the salads. I was before surgery, I was all about like the big ass salad, and that was my lunch every day. Then I couldn't have vegetables for a while, raw veggies for a while. So now I'm back on the salad kick. So I pre-cook my chicken, and I always have that ready to go. And then I do spring mix. I do chicken. I throw pickles in, cucumbers in, peppers in, cherry tomatoes, olives, whatever I have. But I always throw in a bunch of veggies. And then my go-to that is always in my fridge is summer fresh roasted red pepper dip. I
Yes!
literally put that shit on everything.
I eat the
Um,
same.
oh my god, I dip veggies in it, I dip crackers in it, but it
And
is
the
my
pico de
salad
gallo.
dressing.
You got me on
Yeah,
the pico de gallo
the
as well.
pico,
Yep,
100%.
yep,
Um, but if you like me, I'm a dipper, first of all. I have to
100%.
have sauce and dip. And
Yeah.
for salads, I don't like I like vinegar, but I don't
Mm,
want an oil vinegar dressing. I want a creamy dressing.
yes.
So I use the roasted red pepper dip as my dressing. I will add a little bit of balsamic vinegar to it just for a bit of a kick, or I'll add a little pickle juice if I put pickles in my salad to
Ooh.
again add that little acidic kick.
Ooh.
Yeah, but that is my lunch. A lot of times, I also was on a cottage cheese pizza bowl kick for a long time.
Oh, yep.
I gotta start bringing those back. I haven't done those in a while. They're super easy, super quick. Again, I like these because you can customize them with what you have in your fridge, what toppings
Correct.
you feel like that day, whatever you're craving in that moment. But Hannah and I will argue, and I ate it yesterday, and I told her,
Oh, it's disgusting.
I so it's disgusting.
I know
I
exactly what
love
you're gonna say.
okay, I love buffalo chicken dip, and I'm gonna wrap this up because we're hitting our mark. But buffalo chicken dip was always my, like, sinful favorite treat pre-surgery, and I loved it, and now I make a healthier version of buffalo chicken dip, with Greek yogurt and low-fat cheese, ranch powder, cottage cheese. I don't like usually cottage cheese, but in the pizza bowls, I like it because it's warm, something about it better. Same within the buffalo chicken dip.
Yeah.
Pro tip, you can also whip your cottage cheese and blend it to make it
Oh,
smooth,
whipped cottage
which
cheese is a
helps
game changer.
so much. Yeah.
So good.
So I take cottage cheese, I take plain Greek yogurt, I
Yep.
take buffalo sauce, ranch seasoning, low fat cheese, mix that all together with chicken. Now, I will use the Costco canned chicken.
Mm.
Hannah will not will not.
Mystery
My
chicken.
so my husband calls it cat food. Whenever I open the can and
Things go
start to like make anything, he's like, "Oh, you open that stinking shit again. Smells
yep.
like cat food in here."
Smells like
I use it. It's already cooked, but I cook it. So like I have a container of cooked Costco chicken right now in my fridge that I'm putting on top of my salads.
weird.
You do you, man. It's
What a
so
good
handy.
recipe that I
It's
like.
so right?
Exactly.
I put it in a pan, I get some color on it, I add a bunch of spices to it, and then I have that as my go-to for my chicken. I can't eat it cold. But the buffalo chicken dip during the puree or during the soft food stage, I made it in little 2-ounce ramekins and I popped them in the fridge and then I would just put them in the microwave or the oven to heat them up as my meal. I eat those all the time. Super high in protein because of the cottage cheese and the yogurt and the chicken. Low in cal. I need to make that again. And I'm definitely gonna use Costco canned chicken.
I like it. We'll share more recipes on Instagram because we're gonna keep these short and sweet, but we're gonna start sharing more recipes. It's something that I'm gonna get into personally is
Mm,
documenting more of what I'm cooking, making, sharing what's good, what's not good, the macros that are in it. So give
yep.
us recipes that you like or want to see me test. I did the viral buffalo chicky salad. I will leave my thoughts on that. But yeah, send them along. I want to make them. I want to test them. I want to make them better. So let me know. We hope you liked following us along when we talk about recipes and what we like. We'll do this episode. Maybe we'll try to do it every other month. I
Yeah.
about our new recipes of
New
this.
finds.
Yeah. So thanks for joining along. Our next episode will be coming next week. We're going to talk about pre-surgery, what's required, what
Mm.
to do. We had a lot of questions about that, but like always, thank you for joining me, Steph, and thank you to
Thanks,
everyone
Hannah.
listening.
Love it. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.